For years, people called them the Lost Girls. Johannah, Jennifer, and the others who grew up when the cameras were already fading and the secrets were starting to spill. I know what it's like to stand at that gate and wonder if there's a world out there that will actually love you for who you are, not who you were raised to be. In 2026, the silence at the big house is being broken again. But this time, it isn't the older sisters speaking out. It's the youngest generation. While Jessa was fighting for her health and Jana was finding her peace, Johannah and Jennifer were quietly planning their own escape. My name is Jill Dillard. I've been through the fire and I've counted the cost. For the next hour, I'm telling the story of the rebellion no one saw coming. The moment the lost girls finally found themselves. This is the truth about the Gen Z Duggars growing up in our family. There was a roadmap. You didn't deviate, and you didn't ask questions that didn't have approved answers. But as the years went by, the world changed, and the walls of the big house started to feel a lot thinner. By early 2026, the younger girls had seen it all. They saw me leave and tell my truth. They saw Jinger find freedom in Los Angeles, and they saw Jessa nearly break under the weight of trying to be perfect. Johannah is 20 years old now. She isn't a child anymore, and she's been watching her older sisters' lives like a map of where she doesn't want to go. I remember the first time I saw a photo of Johannah in a leather jacket. It wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was a signal. For us, a wardrobe change was the first sign of a changing heart. But Johannah and Jennifer aren't just wearing pants. They are embracing a whole different world. The nose piercings and the rock and roll tee shirts are a far cry from the long skirts and hems we were raised with. They are looking at the trad wife expectations that Jessa tried so hard to meet, the ones that led to her physical collapse. And they are choosing a different path. They are refusing to be the next generation of characters in a narrative they didn't write. Jennifer has always been the quiet one, but in 2026, her silence has a different edge to it. She isn't just shy, she's observant. While the rest of the family was focused on Jana's miracle baby in Nebraska or Jessa's recovery in Arkansas, Jennifer was building her own digital escape through the internet and secret social media accounts. These girls have seen a world that our parents tried to keep hidden. They've seen that you can have a voice, you can have a career, and you can have a life that doesn't revolve around a camera crew or a set of rigid rules. The tension at the big house is palpable. Jim Bob has always been a man who values control, but you can't control a generation that was born with the world in their pockets. Johannah's rebellion isn't loud and angry, it's firm and independent. She's been spending more time away from the compound, finding friends who don't know her as a Duggar and who don't care about the family brand. She's seen Jana wait 4 years for her own home. Johannah has decided she isn't going to wait that long to start living. She's pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a daughter in that house. It's a strange thing to watch your younger sisters go through what you went through. But with so much more information at their fingertips, when I wrote my book, I hoped it would make things easier for them. I wanted them to know that they weren't alone, and if they felt like the system was broken, seeing them now wearing what they want and speaking their minds feels like a victory. But it also comes with a cost. The distance between them and our parents is growing, and in 2026, that gap is becoming a canyon that no one knows how to bridge. Jess's health crisis was a major turning point for the younger girls. They saw her try to be the perfect version of the woman our culture demands, the mother of 6 who does it all with a smile, and they saw her fall apart. For Johannah and Jennifer, that was the ultimate proof that the old ways don't always work. They saw Ben having to step in and save her from a diet that was literally starving her. It made them realize that the perfection we were taught to strive for is often just a mask for deep pain. Jinger and Jeremy's slacker comment actually hit the younger girls differently. While some in the family took offense, Johannah and Jennifer saw it as a breath of fresh air. They saw that you could have a smaller family, a relaxed life, and still be happy. Jinger's life in LA is like a beacon for them, a sign that you can leave the nest and thrive without losing your soul. They are looking at Jinger's iced coffees and modern home and realizing that slacking might actually just be another word for freedom. There are rumors that Johannah is planning to move out soon, and not for a marriage. In our world, a girl only leaves her father's house for her husband's house. But Johannah is part of a new guard. She's been talking about college, about a career, about a life where she is the one making the decisions. This isn't just a teenage phase. It's a systematic dismantling of the expectations that have governed our family for decades. Jennifer is right behind her, watching and waiting for her turn to step into the light. The lost girls aren't lost anymore. They are finding themselves in the music they listen to, the clothes they wear, the boundaries they are finally setting. They are the Gen Z Duggars, and they are refusing to be defined by the mistakes of the past as they navigate this rebellion in 2026. They have the supportive sisters who have been there, who have seen the fire, and who are cheering them on from the outside. The big house might be getting quieter, but the voices of the sisters who were raised there are getting louder every day. Reconciliation is hard when you're the one breaking the rules. I know that better than anyone, but I also know that you can't build a real relationship on a foundation of performance. As Johannah and Jennifer continue to find their own paths, the family is having to decide what matters more, the rules or the daughters. In 2026, the rebellion of the lost girls is proving that you can't keep a heart in a cage forever. They are breaking free, and the world is finally going to see who they really are. You know, growing up, our phones were heavily monitored, if we were even allowed to have them. But Gen Z is different. Johannah and Jennifer are digital natives. In 2026, we started hearing whispers about their Finsta's secret Instagram accounts where they didn't have to be Duggar sisters. On these private pages, they weren't posting Bible verses. They were sharing memes, following mainstream fashion influencers, and connecting with people who challenge everything they were taught at home. This wasn't just a teenage phase, it was their window to the outside world. It was through these screens that they realized the chaos Jessa was living wasn't the only option. They were deconstructing their lives one scroll at a time. The day Johannah walked into the kitchen with a small silver stud in her nose, the air in the big house just vanished. In our culture, your body isn't really your own. It's a temple, but a temple with very strict building codes. A nose piercing was more than jewelry. It was a declaration of ownership. My father's reaction was exactly what you'd expect: silence, disappointment, and then a lecture on modesty. But Johannah didn't flinch. She didn't apologize. She looked him in the eye and said, "It's my face, Dad." That moment was a seismic shift. She was showing Jennifer and the younger girls that the world doesn't end when you break a rule. Then came the music. We grew up on hymns and classical pieces. Anything with a syncopated beat was considered worldly, even dangerous. So when Jennifer was spotted in an AC/DC shirt, it was like a lightning bolt hit Tonto Town. She wasn't just listening to the lyrics, she was embracing the energy. She told me later that the music made her feel alive in a way that the quiet, controlled atmosphere of home never did. For the younger girls, rock music became the soundtrack to their independence. They were finding a voice in the lyrics of strangers because for a long time, their own voices had been suppressed. They watched Jessa very closely this year. They saw her struggle to keep the perfect mother image alive while her body was literally failing from that restrictive diet. To Johannah and Jennifer, Jessa wasn't an inspiration, she was a warning. They saw the trad wife lifestyle not as a calling, but as a cage. They saw the chaos of 6 kids and realized they wanted something different. Maybe a career, maybe travel, or maybe just a quiet life like Jingers in LA, where you're allowed to be a slacker once in a while. Jessa's collapse was just the moment the younger girls decided that tradition wasn't worth their health. There's a new word being whispered in the hallways of the compound: college. In our family, girls were taught that their education was just a bridge to motherhood. But Johannah has been looking at nursing programs and graphic design courses online. She's asking questions about tuition and dorm life, things that were once considered off limits. She's seen that I went back to school, and she sees that Jinger is thriving in a city filled with learners. She doesn't want to just be a wife. She wants to be an expert. She wants a life that is defined by her skills, not just her last name. Sunday dinners have changed. It used to be a time of forced harmony, but now the tension is thick. Johannah and Jennifer sit there in their modern clothes, and you can feel the silent battle of wills between them and my father. They aren't being loud or disrespectful. They are just being present as their true selves. My father is struggling to lead a house that is no longer following his script. He tries to bring up authority and protection, but the girls just pass the potatoes and move on. They've realized that his power only works if they believe in it, and they've stopped believing. Jennifer has always been the observer, the one who writes everything down. She started a private journal where she documents the real Duggar life. She's written about the pressure to stay small, the fear of being lost in the crowd, and the hope she feels when she sees us older sisters living our lives. She told me once that her journal is the only place where she feels completely free. I told her to keep writing because one day her words might be the very thing that helps someone else break free, just like my book did for her. The grandkid count is hitting 30 this year. And while the family celebrates the baby boom, the younger girls are looking at it through a different lens. They love their nieces and nephews. They adore Jana's baby, Archie. But they don't see themselves as baby machines anymore. They see the joy of motherhood, but they also see the sacrifice. They are the first generation of Duggar girls to openly discuss body autonomy. They are choosing to see themselves as individuals first, potential mothers second. It's a revolution of thought that is changing the DNA of our family. The best part of this rebellion is how it's bringing us sisters together. We have a private group chat where Johannah and Jennifer ask us for advice on everything from fashion to faith. We aren't just sisters anymore. We are a support system. We are the safety net they didn't have before. When they feel like they're losing their minds at the compound, they call us. We're building a new kind of Duggar family. One based on choice and mutual respect rather than forced obedience. We are proof that the cycle can be broken. So what happens next for the lost girls? I don't think they're lost anymore. I think they're the most found people in that house. Johannah and Jennifer are walking a path that is difficult, but it's theirs. They are the Gen Z rebels who are finally closing the chapter on the perfect Duggar narrative. As I look at them, I don't see rebellion. I see restoration. I see them restoring their own identities and their own futures. My name is Jill Dillard. I counted the cost so they wouldn't have to pay quite as much. And watching them step into the light, it's worth every penny. The rebellion is just the beginning. Thank you for listening.